So, half the reason that I started doing this is because it's just been so much shit that's happened. It just shit got so hectic and went so fast. And I just realized I haven't talked to anybody and I haven't had like a real conversation with anybody in 27 years, 20 some years. Because the only person I had for a friend was Todd. And, unless you're talking about sports or you're talking about getting some or trying to get some, there's no fucking point talking to that guy. None. Zero. Um, so at this point, I just can't get anything, and can't really get anybody to listen. So, and there's some things that need to be known. There's some things that need to be said. Um, so we talk about that. I know there's a lot of people that were upset that I didn't go to Brad's funeral, and you know, I'm not making excuses um, because I did know about it. Some people are weak, and if you have a second to try to find out what that reason is, uh, maybe you wouldn't run your mouth so much. So, Brad Mayer's funeral. All right. So, Brad had a birthday party years ago. Years ago. Years ago. This was back in elementary school, I think it was actually. Um, went to some bowling alley out in Sandusky. There was a bunch of us that went, a bunch of his friends. It was a sleepover, and here we go with Mitch Clark. Mitch Clark and his fucking Charles Manson trance on me. We're wrestling around, yada yada. So, there's a shitload of us. There was 15 to 20 of us there, young dumb boys, and they're wrestling around, and somehow Brad got pinned down on the ground, and Mitch Clark talked me into giving Brad a Cyclops. And me being the follower that I was, I absolutely just couldn't think for myself back then. Um, I did it. I gave the man a Cyclops. Or I gave the boy a Cyclops. And so and everybody laughed. Like it was um, like it was funny or whatever. It's not until years later when you realize that shit like that's not funny. Shit that's shit like that's not funny. And I was embarrassed of myself to to do something that cruel to someone. And I fought that for years and years. I felt so guilty. I felt horrible. And then right before he was in that accident, he put a post on there, um, and he had been lifting and working out or whatever, and he was cut up. He was chiseled, and which was cool because last time I saw him, he was kind of roly poly, kind of like I am now. Um, so he puts his post on there, and he's flexing like Hulk Hogan, and he's looking ripped. He's looking cut up, and it says something about all the people that have hurt me in the past, I'm coming for you, or some shit like that. And I saw that, and I immediately thought that it was for me, that it was meant for me, specifically for me. And that's when the guilt set in. Like, that's when I really started thinking about it. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then he got in the accident, and so I know a lot of you had a big problem with the fact that I didn't go. Um, but it isn't because I wasn't thinking of him. It isn't because I didn't care for him. It isn't because I didn't remember the good times that we all had together. It wasn't it at all. The reason is that I'm a weak person, and once again I was ashamed of what I had done to him. I don't know of anybody else who's ever done anything wrong in the world or hurt anybody, but I would rather you punch me in the face than me hurt you, or have affected you mentally in any way. And I guess I should have went. I didn't know I'd be a demon for not going. I thought that some of my friends that I had, they knew something about me, but they didn't, evidently. Or there's a few of you that didn't. So there you go.